Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Thursday. What is even the date today? We just lose track during this pandemic, don't we? Thursday, April the 8th, for Live with Sara and Tasha. I am Sara Hodson. I'm the founder and CEO at Live Well Exercise Clinic, and I am always joined by my work wife, Tasha, and my BFF, and my right-hand person, and my inspiration, Tasha, who is our Director of Brand and Culture.
I did that as a joke because Sara reminded me that every single time I get on, I forget to unmute myself. I do just a brilliant introduction, and then Sara goes, "Tasha, you're on mute." So this is just, the world we live in. I know that, we're all figuring out these different technologies together. But I've got that intro slide up there for you guys. It can be very tough to get that down and all these other things on before we get started. So
you definitely had me.
As Sara mentioned, Sara and I have worked together for many years. In fact, we are Live Well's original exercise physiologist and health coach. And it is just such an awesome pleasure for us to get to see faces of our members out across Canada. So a quick reminder that if you can see yourself in the Zoom screen, it means we can see you. You don't have to open up your video so that we can see you, but if you would like to, we would love to see your smiling faces. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Esther. Good to see everyone.
And we have a great way that we can kind of, anytime that we want to celebrate or agree with something, because we have this mute and unmute issue. When we want to show celebration, we can do the death clap, and it looks really great on the screen. Everybody just try the death clap, and you'll see how amazing it looks when everybody's doing it. So if we say something and you're like, that's awesome, you don't even have to unmute. You can just do this. And so that's a way that we can participate and not even worry about that mute and unmute.
And a quick reminder, if you have comments, we have the chat open. Comments, questions as we go through our 5 habits that you should be doing daily today. Then go ahead and enter those in. I love today how many people have been able to join us. So excited. This was actually a happy accident. If some of you got an email about 15 minutes ago reminding you, it's because I forgot to send it out on Tuesday. Oops. And but as it turns out, sometimes your failures lead to even better things, with more people being able to maybe sign in today because of that late sent email. So are we ready to dig in, Sara?
Yeah. The topic we're discussing today is actually all around 5 habits that we should be doing daily. And I know that, I'll maybe get Tasha to do an intro to kind of what we're going to discuss today. But if, as we're talking, you can think of some of the things that you do on a daily basis that you feel contribute to your overall health, type those in the chat. We would love to hear those from you. And as always, at the end, as Tasha said, we will do some Q&A. So Tasha, what is this all about? 5 habits we should do every day.
Yeah, so I'll start off by maybe sharing a quote that we have heard before by John C. Maxwell. And it says, "You will never change your life until you change something that you do daily. The secret of success is found in your daily routine." And that's really, when we're talking about lifestyle change, it is really the stuff that we are doing every day over and over and over that makes the difference. And so that counts for good habits and bad habits, right? So I've used the example before about how, I might be working with somebody and they say, "You know what I really need to do? I need to stop eating cake." And I go, "Great, tell me more about that. How often are you eating cake?" They say, "At birthday parties." And I go, oh, wow, you must be a real party goer because, I go to a birthday party once a month. And probably that piece of cake that you're having once a month is not make or breaking you. So go and have your cake. And instead, let's focus on the things that you're doing daily. So we have 5 things that we'd like to talk about. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, when we first tell you what they are, you may go, seriously, girls, stop wasting my time, because I think I know that I should move, eat, sleep, connect, and celebrate a little bit more. But bear with us, because we would like to really dig into those topics a little bit more and tell you how you might use them to be really meaningful for you on a daily basis. You want to take it away with the first habit, Sara?
I absolutely do, because this habit is what Live Well Exercise Clinic is absolutely founded on, and that is movement, moving every day. And we often even have people ask Tash and I, like, why do you say the word exercise? Exercise, does that have, a positive tone to it? And then, people started to kind of soften the word exercise by saying physical activity. And now we're really using the word move a lot more. And the reason is because we used to think of exercise like, as like the aerobics classes, like really getting that exercise in. And we know that we have to get in at least 150 minutes a week of that very purposeful exercise. But what we really want to talk about in a daily habit here is also moving. And sometimes it's just about moving more than we were before. Maybe it means that moving a little bit more if we are watching Netflix on a Zoom call. Tasha, you're always such a good example. Look at her. See? All she needs is her leg warmers and like John Travolta in the audience. But simply moving more. So that can be adding in a brief 10-minute walk. The sun comes out and it's a beautiful time and you can go out for a little walk. Yes, it means kind of getting up off of the couch. So we can even reverse this and think of, in our days, we want to have less time where we don't move. So how can we just have that less time where we're not moving? And that means getting up and down off the couch, maybe even walking a lap in the living room. All of this is really, really important, not just for our physical health, but also for our mental health. So every single day, just like we brush our teeth, just like we do these habits that are essential to our hygiene and our health, moving every day has to just become part of who we are and part of what we crave. And I will tell you that when we do have it as part of our everyday routine, and that doesn't mean having to do a big intense bout of exercise, if we have it as part of our everyday routine, it actually gets easier because it's just kind of a non-negotiable.
Yeah, I know it, Sara. On my computer, I have a timer that goes off every hour that reminds me it's time to get up out of my chair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're on calls and there goes Tasha's activity timer.
Bing! I also have a water timer that reminds me to drink water, and it makes like a trickling sound, and it really catches people in meetings off guard because all of a sudden everybody goes, I have to go to the washroom all of a sudden. Why is that?
Yeah,
I love to see Joy drinking some water. As I said that, it was a good trigger. Yeah, and so really considering those ways that you can incorporate more movement. Somebody was sharing on the comments in one of our, I think it was in the Healthy Habits course, that somebody commented that they park farther away. They stopped worrying about finding the closest parking lot. Pat, was that you? Yeah, awesome. I love that you're on the call. I thought that was such a genius comment. And what I loved about it is that, you had mentioned that not only are you getting that more movement, but you're not stressed going around the parking lot looking for that perfect spot. You're happy to be in the back, right? Try that at Costco, people. It will free you up. Just park way there at the back of the lot.
Way less stress. Way less.
So think about those ways that you can make a commitment. And again, think about it and say, for example, I've heard people say, I have a rule now. I don't take the escalator. I take the staircase right beside it now for sure. Or I seek out the stairs. Find some movement rules for you.
Yeah.
And that will make it easier to do. Kind of like Pat's, hey, I just park far away. That's a great rule to instate for yourself that can help incorporate movement. I could talk about that all day, but in the sake of time, I will move on to our next habit, number 2, which is eat. Oh, wow.
And you know what, Tasha? I'm just going to share one thing, because Leanne just shared with us how much she loves that for her, because she's on Pacific time, that she can tune into this live during her lunch hour, eat her lunch. We can entertain you, Leanne. We will get all of this to you in a very fun way, and feel free to invite all of your friends to watch, and we could just be like a TV episode for you right now.
There you go.
And so
the whole office involved.
Exactly. While you're talking about eating, I just wanted to let you know that Leanne is eating, I'm sure, a very healthy, live well styled lunch.
Awesome. John's shaking his food there. I love it. So again, most of us don't have any problems eating every day. This is not so I'm not saying please make sure you eat. If you're not eating at all, I need you to reach out to your physician and have a conversation. But for most of us, that's not the issue. We are eating aplenty. But what this daily habit about
more than aplenty during this pandemic
is slowing down our eating and eating intentionally, because eating intentionally is going to help us make better food choices. It's going to help us have an opportunity to connect to our bodies and listen. You've heard us say in the education in classes, that I'm going to butcher this now, hara hachibu, right? Eating to 80% full. That's my Japanese for the day. If you speak Japanese, feel free to let me know that I've pronounced that incorrectly.
I know how to say imananji desu ka, and I know how to say watashi no namae wa Sara desu. I know the
Are those swears?
Sarah. No, Tasha, I would never use curse words. I was saying my name is Sarah, and I believe imananji desu ka is what time is it? Very basic needs when you're in Japan.
I only know how to say eat to 80% full, which might come in handy if I'm ever in Japan. So the idea here is slowing down our food, being intentional, paying attention to the presentation of your food allows you to notice your hunger and your fullness cues. And then you're able to sort of, first of all, avoid being stuffed. But the flip side of that is avoid feeling hungry when you've actually eaten enough calories. Have any of you eaten at your desk, eaten in front of the TV, just not paid attention and found that you've eaten a full meal? I see you bowing your head in shame. Sarah does this a lot, where those who can't teach, right? Sarah and I are human. We eat at our desks more than we care to admit. We're right there with you, Leanne. But it's about slowing down. Oh, sorry, I got off there on a tangent. Sarah often distracts me. That's the issue. But what I was saying is, have you ever sat and eaten like that, and then you're kind of hungry an hour later, and you feel like I didn't eat? Like I've had times where I've told my husband, I haven't eaten anything all day today, barely, and then I realized, oh no, I actually had that and that and that. But it's because I was eating all of those things while I was driving or this or that, and they almost don't even register psychologically. So eating is not just about fueling your body. It's not just about chucking calories in there. It is a time to stop, reflect. You'll enjoy your food more, and you'll get those natural cues and fullness. So you're not always going to be able to eat at a fully set table. But think of ways that you can slow down your eating, putting the fork down, taking a sip of water. Have you ever had that episode where I know watching my children eat, Apparently I've taught them never to put your fork down because they're just going like this. And we tend to eat more like that when we're distracted while we're eating. If you can eat with others, if you've got somebody at home with you, or have a dinner date over Zoom, right? In these kind of strange times we're in right now, because that conversation will slow you down too.
I found that I still am not out of the habit of like shoveling my food and eating it fast, because I'm still used to having like little kids where you literally have like 2 minutes to eat. And I don't know how many people can relate, even decades. My kids are teenagers now, and I still get food and I think I better eat it while it's there and while I can, and while it's hot. And so I eat food fast, and then I go, oh, my children are all off doing their own thing and there's not really anybody here forcing me to. But it was a habit that I got into, and it's completely just a subconscious behavior that I am aware of it now, and so that's good.
Awareness is the first step, right? That which leads me to a sort of similar conditioning example. Anybody told when they were a kid that you had to finish everything on your plate? Yeah. And do you find that as an adult, you still finish everything on your plate? I do. And long beyond the time when I have pushed my plate away and said, I'm full, only to pull it back towards me 2 minutes later and start eating again. And my husband is lovely and kind about it, but he's like, you did just tell me you were stuffed and now you're continuing to eat the food. And so he now takes my plate away from me as like some sort of helper. I know it sounds horrible, but it is out of love. So again, mindfulness around your eating. So that eating to 80% and going, it's okay that I've been overserved is something that I'm working on in my life.
And Tasha, I will assume that you have really empowered your husband to be part of your healthy living community and to take that plate away in order for him to champion your potential.
I did tell somebody that story once and they went, your husband's a real jerk. So I just got to be careful there that I'm not disparaging him when in fact I've asked him to help me with that. Now I also told him that I didn't want any pain medication when having my children. And he kindly told the doctors when they asked him, I think your wife should take some pain medication. He said, no, she doesn't want it. But had he actually asked me at that moment, I would have taken that pain medication in a New York minute. But anyway, that was 13 years ago, and you can see I'm still quite angry about it.
Your secrets are safe with us. We will not tell a soul.
Sara, we digress. Let's get on to habit number 3.
Habit number 3 is sleep. And, I know that we talk about sleep and for our Live Well members, we talk about sleep in our sessions and in our health coaching, and it is a continual topic. But I think that specifically, and hopefully we all have a moment in our day where we get tired and we can rest our head on a pillow and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But I think that, again, really creating that schedule and that routine and really ensuring that we get the healthy sleep, because what happens when we don't get the sleep that we need, that 7 to 8 hours, actually impacts the last 2 kind of daily habits that we were talking about. When we don't get enough sleep, our body tries to conserve energy, and therefore we get kind of a little bit lethargic, or we feel a bit lazy, and we're not as inclined to move than if we got some good hours of sleep. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. When you're tired, you just feel a little bit more lethargic, right? Yes. And so and then the other thing that it does is that actually a tired body kind of craves energy. And so it might actually increase our hunger and our cravings. And sometimes that doesn't always lead us to making the healthiest choices. So it's not just about sleep. It's not just about resting our head on the pillow and letting our body fall asleep when it wants to and waking up when it wants to. It really has a trickle out effect that I think, getting into those routines and going to bed and making sure that we get those hours. And we have a lot more information, and we have many of our lessons on sleep if you wanted to dig into that more. But sleep is a really, really important daily habit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, turning off that last episode of Suits last night for me was a tough decision, but it was the right decision in order to make my bedtime, because it had fallen apart there for a little bit. If any of you have watched Suits, it does really pick up in the second season. So the next habit is about connecting. And again, all of these habits are about how can I make this more intentional in my life. And we are social creatures. We've been talking about that in recent lessons in clinic. We are social creatures and we need to connect. And I think especially during this pandemic, when that's been a lot more difficult, as restrictions have not allowed us to connect as easily or in the ways that we used to with people, it's really important to keep those connections alive. And we know that texting and phone calls are not the same as face-to-face interaction. So if you can video with somebody, that's always better. But just having a chance to catch up with a friend over a telephone call, a little coffee date telephone call, can be really powerful. Or, in provinces where you're still allowed to go out and walk distanced, spread across from people, having a little walking date or something outdoors with somebody, just really, really important. And Stephen Covey talks about this in his Sharpening the Saw. He talks about that. So he's the author that writes 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he goes, you need to look at the different roles and relationships in your life and say, how am I keeping that one sharp? Right. So, for me, it's, well, gee, Tash, how long have you taught? How has it been since you connected with your brother and sister, for example?
Or Sarah,
Or Sarah, right? Yeah, exactly. For somebody that I used to sit on her lap in our tiny little office almost every day. Now I'll have to share that picture now, Sarah, of us working with me sitting on your lap. We have a funny photo of that. But really, everyone. Connecting with somebody. And I suggest, if there's an area where that isn't happening, looking at really just making yourself a note in a little schedule. Hey, I connected with so-and-so, and I'm going to make sure that I either set a reoccurring date. That was huge for me in friendships that were starting to sort of just fizzle out in the busyness of life, to say, hey, we've met today. I'd love for us to set our next date. Because how many times do you say, oh yeah, we'll call, we'll get together. Yeah, we really should get together. And then a year goes by. So if the relationship is valuable to you, make sure that you're connecting regularly. Surround yourself with a community of people that you care about and that are giving you both physical and emotional support. And again, your little community at Live Well, your session time, that's a support system as well, right? You may not be going for coffee and be very close, but it is a form of outside connection and outside support. So knock off the move and the connect by making sure that you show up to your session times.
And I know that for us way back a year ago now, for me, a huge highlight of every week was when, as a Live Well family, we got together on Zoom, and there was, sometimes hundreds of us connecting over Zoom with amazing speakers, and everyone was taking their videos off because we just wanted to see each other's faces and to say hello and hear other people talk. And we had cats walking across the screen, and long bearded men, and our hair was all disheveled and roots down to here, but it didn't matter. We just wanted to look into each other's eyes. So I know for myself, that was a huge thing that got me through last spring, which was something for me to celebrate, which brings us to our last daily habit, is celebrate. And last week we or was it last week or the week before, we talked about gratitude. Now I have my weeks. I don't remember when we talked about gratitude, but you know, really taking a moment to celebrate and to finding those things. And right now may be a tough time to really mine for the things that we can celebrate, but celebrating ourselves every day, finding just that one thing, it really helps us to kind of fight against that natural inclination that we have of having kind of a negative bias, right? And you know, I will say that often Tasha will say to me, oh, it was, you know, I feel like I got through my day here and I didn't really, you know, get anything meaningful done, or I didn't really do anything. And I said, oh, but what about this and this and this? And I'm not throwing you under the bus, Tasha. I'm showing how easy it is. Tasha, who's an expert, I will put her as global expert in this area, how we naturally take a negative bias to our own efforts, to the time we put into things, to our accomplishments. But really, it was that maybe that Tasha had actually achieved many things that day. So we really have to kind of remove ourselves from that. And when we do mind for even the simplest thing to celebrate, we truly find joy, which, as you know, at Live Well Exercise Clinic, one of our core values is find the joy. So we have now given you our 5 daily habits. So we're going to repeat those. And if you remember them, you can say them with us. Move, eat, sleep, connect, and celebrate. So those are our 5 habits. We would love to just open it up. Yeah. 5 daily habits. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I really think this could be a thing. Like, I want to see you guys out there waving your hands at people. I think this is a great idea.
It is. I love it. So if anyone has anything that you want to chat about, or again, we would love to hear from you. What are some of the things maybe outside of these 5 things that you do on a daily basis that you feel really contributes to your overall health? We would love to hear those things. If you'd like, and you want to just pop them in the chat, that would be great. Because this list of 5 is not exhaustive. It is our Live Well list of 5, a nice little overview there. Cook a healthy dinner. Yes. Daily habit, cooking a healthy dinner. I love it.
Oh, I get it. Leanne has made a comment that it, you know, she gets home late from work and ends up falling asleep on the couch. And then, you know, these are, you know, sleep is a tough one. So if you're struggling with sleep, but what we know is routine helps get your circadian rhythm in sync. And so you'll start to get tired at the right times. As well, you know, even eating can affect our circadian rhythm. So eating in the morning, this is kind of why the eating breakfast can be a good thing, because it tells your body, okay, we're up and we're moving. But eating late at night kind of messes up the circadian rhythm. So shifting our calories to a little bit earlier in the day can even help with sleep. You know, sleep is a tough one, and there's no magic solution, but there are things that research are telling us, and routine is so important. So sticking to a bedtime, even if you're lying in bed with your eyes wide open, pull a pat, don't get stressed out. Just say, I'm in bed. That was my only responsibility. And now I have restful wake time. And restful wake time is actually proven to still be beneficial for you. So don't let it stress you out.
Some of the other comments, Tasha, that we have here, getting up around the same time in the morning. Some people saying I do time restricted eating, helping to get myself into a routine. Leanne sharing with us that because she's so busy at work, and I love this, you know, sometimes we can't avoid how busy we are with things. She's created a workaround where she orders from a catering company to ensure she gets vegetables in her meal. Whatever we have to do, it is a fabulous solution. We are coming to
Oh, sorry, Sarah. I was going to say that's being a nutrition scout,
Yeah.
right? For the Scouts motto, be prepared. And
Yeah.
though, sure, in a perfect world, you could cook for yourself every day and, market fresh vegetables from the farmer's market, it's not the life most of us are leading.
Yeah.
So it's totally okay to rely on things like these prep companies, or now they've got all these meal delivery services, if that moves you in the right direction of eating fresh food. So way to be a nutrition scout there, Leanne.
And so in recap and to set us forth into the week, another kind of weekly habit that you want to make sure that you have in place is to really meet yourself weekly. And again, review your weekly practice plan. Reflect back on how you did last week and make a plan for the week forward. Again, you can log into your member portal and you can do all of that there by actually looking back and rating your success and looking at your confidence moving forward. But set aside time every week to do that.
And if you're asking yourself, what is she talking about? Please go and have a look at our health mapping course. That will lead you through the Sparks method, which teaches you all about creating a health vision, 3-month healthy habits, and then weekly action plans or practice plans that will help you make sure that you are achieving the things that you hope to achieve to improve your health, so that you can go out and live your life to the fullest.
And as always, make a date with exercise, whether you are joining us in clinic, whether you are live streaming into your sessions, or maybe you're even participating on demand from the comfort of your home using our Live Well videos with our Live Well clinical exercise physiologist leading you through your exercises. No matter how you are participating, make that date with exercise. It really is one of the most important appointments in your calendar.
Next week is dance days, and though most of us cannot do dance days in the clinic because of current COVID restrictions, Sam, one of our exercise professionals, aka our resident dancer, has created a video for you that I'll post up tomorrow, where she will teach you the dance and lead you through it. So go ahead and celebrate that you do that. Have some fun with it. And please post a picture or a video of you shaking it in your living room, because I would love to see that.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Oh, I know Sarah will do it.
Oh, yeah. And so next week, we are going to be here same day, same time, Thursdays at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We are going to take it a bit of a different look at moving. Are you moving enough? Right? So again, making sure that we're reducing that sedentary time. We're going to talk about that next week. Don't forget, if you are watching this as a recorded version on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, as you will be alerted about all of our fabulous and funny content that we post every single week, and you can stay up to date with everything Live Well. We want to thank everyone for joining us today. Any parting words, Tasha? Let's do it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great week.
Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye.